He's very optimistic, billionaire Harold Hamm, very optimistic about the Bakken. And having just gotten back from North Dakota myself, spending some time in Williston, North Dakota, which is considered ground zero for the energy boom, I can understand why Harold is betting big on all that black gold and why his company, Continental Resources, is the most active operator in the region. I do want to bring him in. Harold Hamm, Chairman and CEO of Continental Resources. Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you, Carol.
You are optimistic about the Bakken, and I think the number that's out there is about 24 billion barrels.
Yeah, barrel oil equivalent. That's exactly right.
In about 10 years.
Yeah, in about 10 years.
Is that?
Well, it may take more than that to develop it, but you know, it's going to take a long time to develop it. But you know, the resource is there that we will recover. And
you guys are really, really active. I'm curious, Harold, though, are you kind of maybe even conservative in that number?
Well, we came out with that number about a year ago right now, October 12th of 2010. And there's been a lot of things happen since that time. I think the most exciting one is actually at that time we were just drilling the top of the Three Forks formation, which underlies the second Bakken Shale. Mm-hmm. And since then, we've taken a number of cores down anticline, and we found out that a lot of this area is saturated all the way through the Three Forks to the base of the Three Forks down to the Nisku. And so there's a lot more oil-saturated rock there than we first thought.
How much more, though, could it potentially, and I hate to pinpoint you on a number because then everybody tracks it forever, but I mean, is there the possibility that it could be 30 billion, 35 billion because you continue to, it becomes even more optimistic than you guys all initially thought?
Well, it could be. You know, we're not saying right now. We haven't done the science and to know that and the assessment to do that. But I'll just say that certainly our number of 24 billion barrels I think is conservative at this point. You know, we estimated it would take 48,000 wells to fully develop it.
Right.
And if we have to drill each one of these benches separate, there's 4 benches in the Three Forks now, and we've tested the second one already. And if we have to drill wells in all those, certainly that number's going to go up.
I was floored when I was in North Dakota last week, Harold. You know, you told us to go up there because there's plenty of jobs. There are plenty of jobs for folks. How much, though, is the inability to fill workers in those jobs up in North Dakota and really the lack of infrastructure? I mean, the roads are really overrun with trucks at this point. There's not enough housing for everybody. There's not enough restaurants to feed people. It's a little crazy. How much is that lack of infrastructure, maybe inability to fill jobs, kind of holding you guys back right now?
Well, it's held everybody back from the beginning. You know, with number of rigs and all the equipment, you know, that's necessary to develop all this, of people. And, you know, we estimated this summer that there was about 18,000 unfilled jobs, and certainly we've had an influx of people filling all those, but, you know, you have to build the infrastructure for all of them, the housing, places for them to eat, sleep, you name it, all that has to go in. And plus, additional roads, they are loaded.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and so anyway, a lot of operators like our company is, you know, just load and let the infrastructure catch up. We need pipelines,
but you got to hold back a little bit to let it catch up.
Oil lines, gas lines, all those things, yes.
All right. Harold, you know, we're talking about the potential for the Bakken. There's some other plays that are out there up in Canada and so on and so forth. Is there a point that you envision that we will completely be independent of foreign oil and anytime soon?
Well, in fact, a group of producers has come together as domestic energy producers of America. And we've made a declaration that in the next 10 years that the Americas can be energy independent. And I think we can go further than that eventually within the next 15 years or so. And North America alone can become energy independent. So, yes, we've, right now, a lot of people don't realize it, but we're producing 53% of our consumption needs. So that's big.
Here at home.
Here at home. So we're only importing 47%. So the numbers that people have heard, the 60% or whatever, you know, in the late 90s, that's changed. And it's changed because of what we're finding here, the Bakken, you know, the Eagle Ford, Niobrara and other plays right here at home.
I got to ask you, because there's been stories written, you guys are very leveraged to the Bakken. It's an area where interest and valuations have soared, as you know, and some companies have already sold out. What about you guys? You're independent. When you and I talked over the summer, you said you have no plans to go into retirement. But are you getting a lot of offers, or at least people wanting to talk to you because of your exposure there?
Well, we generate about as much interest as anyone, that's for sure. But we're one of the larger players. We have about 10% of the productive area up there, as leasehold in our company. And we have a growth rate of 39% this year that we're on track to meet, that we predicted.
Which makes you even more attractive, potentially.
Which even makes me more attractive, yeah. So anyway, we're tripling the size of the company every 5 years. And so it's hard to catch up with that, you know. So, yes, I'm sure we're attractive, though.
Let me ask you, I know they're going to ask me to wrap up real soon. Is there, though, potentially an offer out there that could make you sell?
Well, you never say never, but, you don't hang a shingle out like, some of the people we've seen do.
Well, it's certainly an interesting play, and good to get your perspective on it again. Harold, thank you.
Thank you. It's good to be here with you.
Great to have you here. Harold Hamm of Continental Resources.